Hello students, here is part 2 of suffixes. So let's get started. So as you can see, our first suffix is cide, which means killing or destroying. For example, genocide, it's the type of crime of intentionally destroying part by killing people. Next one is herbicide, it is killing or destroying of unwanted vegetation. Germicide, a substance or other agent which destroys harmful microorganisms. Fungicide, it is a killing or preventing the growth of fungi and their spores. Insecticide, kill or destroy insects. Bactericide, killing or destroying bacteria. Arboricide, killing or destroying trees and shrubs. Avicide, killing or destroying birds. Fratricide, killing of one's own brother and sister. Moving to our next suffix, which is malacia, which means softening. And here are some examples of it. First one is osteomalacia, which means softening of the bones. Chondromalacia, softening of the cartilage on the underside of kneecap. Next one is encephalomalacia, which means softening or loss of brain tissue. Keratomalacia, softening of cornea due to severe deficiency of vitamin A. Myelomalacia is softening of spinal cord. Bronchomalacia is softening of cartilage of the bronchi of the lungs. Laryngomalacia is softening of the tissues in the larynx. Tracheomalacia is the softening of the cartilage in the trachea. Now our next suffix is ria, which means discharge or the flow. And here are some examples of it. First one is licoria, which means it is the vaginal discharge. Diarrhea, abnormal frequent discharge of semi-solid or fluid fecal matter from the bowel. Next one is menorrhea, which is normal vaginal bleeding during menstruation. Next one is logoria, excessive flow of words or pressure of speech as occurs in mania. Rhinorrhea, it is a flow of mucus from the nose. Amenorrhea, absence of menstrual flow. Lactorrhea, which means spontaneous flow of milk from the breast. Bronchorrhea, excessive discharge or flow of mucus from the bronchi. Spermatorrhea is involuntary discharge of semen or sperm. Now moving to our next suffix, which is stomy, which means incision or cutting. And here are some examples of it. First one is craniotomy, which means incision or cutting in the skull. Arthrotomy, which means incision or cutting into a joint. Gastrotomy is the incision or cutting into the stomach. Hysterotomy is the incision or cutting of the uterus. Phlebotomy is the incision or cutting of the veins. Laparotomy is the incision or cutting of the abdominal wall. Bronchotomy is the incision or cutting into the windpipe. Rhinotomy is the incision or cutting in the nose. Tracheotomy is the incision or cutting into trachea. And our next suffix is pathy, which means disease or abnormal condition. Let's see some examples of it. First one is retinopathy, which means disease of the retina. Next one is myopathy, which means disease of the muscles. Neuropathy, which means disease of the nerves and spinal cord. Nephropathy, which means disease of the kidneys. Cardiomyopathy, it is a group of disease that affect the heart muscle. Moving to our next suffix, which is ectomy, which means surgical removal. And here are some examples of it. First one is appendectomy, which means surgical removal of the appendix. Next one is adenoidectomy, which means surgical removal of the adenoids, which are organs located in the throat behind the nose. Next one is arthrectomy, which is the surgical removal of a joint. Cholecystectomy is the surgical removal of the gallbladder. Colectomy is the surgical removal of all or part of the colon. Nephrectomy is the surgical removal of the kidneys. Tonsillectomy is the surgical removal of the tonsils. Cardiectomy is the surgical removal of the heart or the cardiac section of the stomach. Craniectomy is the surgical removal of the portion of the skull to access the brain. Cystectomy is the surgical removal of all or part of the bladder. Chondrectomy is the surgical removal of joint cartilage. Now let's move on to our last suffix, which is plasty, and which means surgical repair or reconstruction. Examples are arterioplasty, which is surgical repair or reconstruction of any artery. Vaginoplasty, which is surgical repair or reconstruction of the vagina. Hymenoplasty, which is the surgical repair or reconstruction of the hymen. Genioplasty is the surgical repair or the reconstruction of the chin to improve facial aesthetics. Bronchoplasty is the surgical repair or reconstruction of a bronchus. Enteroplasty is the surgical repair or reconstruction of parts of the intestines. Rhinoplasty is the surgical repair or reconstruction of the nose. Hoping that you understood all the terminologies, and also if you want next video on any specific topic, please comment down below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.